And we are back. Thank you so much for returning to us on a new day right here on TV3. We're about to get into the big issue. But this morning, of course, we're giving out some money, 2,000 Ghana cedis to 2 lucky individuals, but only if you play *439#. *439#. Make sure you're picking option 2. It'll cost you 5 cedis to play, and you as well could be walking away like thousands of others with some cold hard cash going straight onto your mobile device. So please keep on playing. Play as many times as possible to guarantee that you're getting some money in your pockets. What would you do with 2,000 Ghana cedis? Well, you can find out, again, only if you play *439#. Of course, it's a glorious Thursday morning, so you know that I have some wonderful women in the studio with me. Let me say good morning and a very warm welcome to my panelists this morning, who will be dissecting the 2 topics that we have on the table this morning. I've got Nanaya Achimpim Jantwa. She's a presidential staffer, and she's with us this morning. Looking forward. Former General Secretary of the CPP. I will not forget next time. Nanaya, great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. I'm fine. I'm well, by the grace of God.
Always a pleasure to have you on Thursdays. I look forward this morning to your thoughts. He's around. Nanaya, he's around. He's back. Let me also say good morning.
You should tell him I miss him. He should appear.
Yes, we'll produce him. Rodalyn Imoro Ayana is a public interest advocate, also no stranger to our Thursday female panel. Rodalyn, hello, good morning.
Hi, Ellen, good morning.
How are we doing?
Not too bad, and yourself?
I'm doing all right.
You look green, though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Such an earthly colors.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Looking very good this morning.
Thank you.
You always look good.
Thank you. I'm learning from
Auntie Rodalyn.
actually from both, from Nanaya and also from Auntie Rodalyn. They're paving the way. They're showing
their style.
Hey, it's not easy.
Charlie, make you no go there.
Make you no go there. Indeed. But of course, the issues that you and I have to slice and dice this morning, they're meaty and mighty indeed. Let's get straight into it. Now, suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu's address yesterday to the press has sparked some major constitutional discussions in Ghana. Now, as she challenged the legality and fairness of her removal process, and you know that that's been ongoing for some time now. We've been following every step of the way. But what did she say yesterday? She's accused the government of political motive. She talked about threats on her person and also procedural violations undermining judicial independence. Well, in a swift response, presidential spokesperson Felix Kwakye has rejected these claims, affirming that President John Dramani Mahama acted within the 1992 Constitution and followed Article 146 transparently and lawfully. Now, this standoff highlights deep divisions over constitutional interpretation and raises critical questions about the balance of power, rule of law, and Ghana's judiciary future. So do let that marinate as you get ready to share your thoughts with us. And they're most welcome across our platform. Now, let's take a quick look at the 4 reasons for which the now suspended Chief Justice decided to embark on this public address. She talks about this removal process being quite historic with higher stakes. This is the first time that you'll see a process such as this happening. She talks about far-reaching implications of the process. She alleges that there have been constitutional violations and illegality of proceedings, and also says that she wants to address the calls for her resignation. She says that many supporters, loved ones, family, they're asking why she's still at post and urging her to resign or to retire. She wanted to address that, and also the alleged threats on her life. But let's actually rewind the clock, take you back to that presser, and actually listen to exactly what now suspended CJ Gertrude Tokonu had to say.
Unfortunately, every step of the removal process being undertaken against me is being done in a manner that breaks every rule on how justice is delivered in our country. And this is why I find the need to draw the nation's attention to the serious violations of the Constitution and law in the process, and the danger it holds for the development of the nation's democracy. Resigning or retiring while Article 146 proceedings are being conducted to remove a judge is not an option any judge or public official can even have. There is a decided case on the matter by the Supreme Court. The suit number is J6/02/2019. Again, no one has the authority to walk away from proceedings started by the state. Judgment can be entered against you because you fail to defend yourself. And a judge who resigns or retires would still lose all entitlements that they have worked for because they failed to defend the claims and resigned or retired while the proceedings were still going on. The Edu Lodge facility that the hearings are being conducted in featured very prominently in the planning of the murder of judges on June 30th, 1981. And this can be read about in the special investigative report on that terrible event in our nation's history. It will be recalled that there was a Major Samakwa, a military officer who was killed with the 3 High Court justices, who was the director of human resource of GEHOC. He was my uncle and my guardian when I entered the University of Ghana in September 1980. I was also living with him at the time he was abducted and murdered. Was Edu Lodge chosen for my inquiry to make me feel insecure? I think so. And I continue to hold the view that there's no reason why a judicial hearing is being conducted behind the high walls of Edu Lodge.
All right, let's also take a listen to Felix Kwatio-Fosu. He's the minister in charge of government communications, and he had some reaction to what had been said by CJ Gertrude Tokonu.
Single public official, from the president to the speaker to the chief justice to Supreme Court judges to ministers to all public office holders, are bound by the provisions of Ghanaian law. Indeed, it was the former Australian Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd, who once said that when you join the game, you play by the rules. So no public official is allowed to raise him or herself above the laws of Ghana. It does not matter how sensitive your position is. Once Ghanaian law dictates that certain processes be undertaken in respect of some alleged misconduct, the rules must come to play. That the attempts to link dastardly killings of some Supreme Court judges and a military officer to this case are most disingenuous. It's regrettable and should not find space in this sort of discourse. The committee requested that they needed facilities of a certain status that could house their activities and that could facilitate a smooth running of the proceedings. And that facility was available. It is equipped with modern amenities that will facilitate the work of the committee. She is entitled to do so, and we encourage her to avail herself of any opportunity there is to vindicate her rights.
All right, and again, that was the response coming from Felix Kwatio-Fosu. Again, he's the minister in charge of government communication. Anaya, let me start off this discussion with you. Do you believe that this presser held by the now suspended CJ was appropriate, number one? And also, what do you think the implications will be on the ongoing process?
Helen, good morning to your viewers. Good morning. You know me, I do my greetings before I start.
That's right.
Good morning to my friends and my colleagues at the Flagstaff House. Colonel Bashir Issa, the MA, the Chief of Staff, my boss, the president, my boss, and all the people that I work with. I say good morning and use this opportunity to thank you for your support and for everything that you do. Good morning to my sister Shamima. I hope you are well. I haven't seen you in a while. Our office is a big place. Good morning. Helen, I don't even know where to start from. I mean, truly. Yesterday when I saw her speaking, I told myself what's going on. We have a constitution, as Felix said, and nobody is above the laws of this country. Nobody is bigger than the laws. And I am surprised that this woman, Ellen, 2017, if we were put in a certain situation, do you get me? You couldn't even have the nerve and the right to speak. And I think we are being too nice on certain.
Too nice?
Yes. Because, I mean, seriously, there is a rule, there is a constitutional provision. You are going through a process. That process should be held in camera. Then you come out with your own views about what is going on there. Some of the things that she says is far-fetched. She's speaking as if she's been put in a certain bind, a certain place, a certain bad place. And these are the people who are interrogating her or speaking to her, interacting with her. About 2 of them are her colleagues, right?
That's right.
Yes. And you cannot, you don't feel comfortable with your own colleagues. Then who are you? Her body language is so nauseating. Her
body language.
Yes, it's so nauseating, the way she even makes her face. For somebody who says that you are in a situation of despondency, a situation where you think that you are being put down. And she has this haughty look. And that is what God hates. A haughty look. She says she's a Christian. She should go to Proverbs 6:16. Haughty eyes. The thing that God hates. Her whole body language smacks of arrogance. So I told myself, whoever made a mistake to come and inflict this woman on us as the Chief Justice, somebody who is supposed to, the word is not coming to, exact justice at the highest level. And listen to her talking as if, I mean, she's the all in all. That she will not put her tail in between her legs and to run away. I heard she said she's the leader in church. And if you were, and she was talking about Nebuchadnezzar and the magicians, it didn't even fit. I didn't even know what she was talking about. If she said she was a true Christian, her analogy of Nebuchadnezzar and the interpretation by Daniel, the writings on the wall, it didn't fit. If that is what she was saying, then it means that she's in trouble, because as soon as you akin your situation to that of Nebuchadnezzar, it means God has rejected you. And that is the example that she used. Yesterday, I didn't see a Christian. I saw a fake person, a person who has put on a certain facade. And I was a
Nanaya, I feel as though the words that are, coming from your mouth this morning, can I describe them as scathing? Almost quite.
It is not scathing. I am talking about what I saw with my eyes. I watched her. Do you get me? And this Charlotte, she said it's historic. It's unprecedented.
That's right.
What about Charlotte Osei? She is not a human being. What about the people, for the first time we jailed the Deputy National Security Coordinator? It's not done anywhere in this world. Even in America, when police people do wrong, sometimes they find the reasonable doubt to the highest level to be able to make sure that, you deal with it in a certain manner. A Deputy National Security Coordinator holding state secrets was mistreated. What is she talking about? I was even surprised that the media gave her the chance. I don't know if she paid for airtime.
Why were you surprised by that?
Yeah, because what
she says it's historic.
What is historic?
It's the first time we're seeing a CJ
why didn't
go through this.
I am telling you, is CJ above the law? The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana does not put any human being above the laws of Ghana. The supreme law of the land gives provision for a judge to be removed. You haven't even gone through the process. Is she guilty? Is she afraid that something is going to happen to her? She's holding on to thin straws. Because if you are not guilty, you have to go through it. Her reference to a 44-year-old incident, yes, it was unfortunate, yet it was dastardly. But some of us went through it. Some of us were affected personally, that the trajectory of the events of those days even affected our lives to this day. Personal. Do you get me? But we don't go back to it. Some people were affected in 1966. Ask Auntie Rodalyn. We, the children of the CPP ministers, the people who formed the CPP, the people who fought for the independence of this nation, that in 1966, when there was a coup d'etat orchestrated by the UPNLM tradition, we went through things. Ask Auntie Rhoda, she's older than me. It's possible she experienced some. But we saw the remnants. Do you get me? Right. But when we speak, we don't refer to those days. Those are unfortunate incidents in the history of our lives. So if you say that they've taken you to a certain place and because that is where judge, nobody is going to kill. We are in a democracy. Who is going to kill her? And she said there are threats. What kind of threats? The people who said she should retire and resign, they were saying it because they thought that if she goes through the process looking at whatever petition and whatever is available as evidence, it is possible she might not make it.
She said that there are threats on her. She said that she has been threatened to either resign or retire.
If she's been threatened,
that some harm could come to her if she does not.
Please, who said so? What kind of threat is that? She's always with the policeman. She has all her security detail with her. Some of us, we walk alone. But we are not afraid. Because if you say you're a Christian, I know the church that she goes to. I used to go to that church.
You don't go there anymore?
No, because it's not my church. But when I was living in Sakoma, I didn't have a Baptist church in that vicinity.
Right.
So I used to go to ICGC. Do you get me? We were the people who helped to build that church. We used to worship in a yellow tent. Do you get me? So if you, Reverend Kujo, if you are in Reverend Kujo's church and you behave in this manner, do you get me? Because you want to fight your battle for yourself. As a Christian, that is why I'm saying she's fake. No Christian would go through a process.
Don't you think that's a bit harsh?
It is not harsh because the way she professes herself to be a Christian, and you say you are going through a process. Go through the process. You haven't even gone through the middle of the process. You are making excuses. You are talking. You are all over the place, going to court. She is allowing the MPP to mislead her. They are the ones doing this. Don't you see their fingerprints all over what she's doing?
Is it because you saw some key personalities at the presser yesterday?
I didn't even watch.
Okay.
Because when I saw her body language, I tried watching her body language, repelled me immediately. Because for me, humility is key.
Nanaya, has that maybe veiled your judgment?
It has not veiled my judgment.
Maybe because of her, how you view her demeanor, you are not looking beyond or past that.
I'm telling you that I know this woman, no. I've encountered her before. There is no need for me to talk about it. I've talked about a little bit when we were during the limited registration. I said it, I don't want to repeat it. We sent a case to court. This woman traveled and left the thing. Do you get me? And she started looking at the thing when she came back the day that the limited registration was ending. This is about Ghanaians. Oh. She doesn't even love Ghanaians. And I am surprised she's talking about herself. It is about herself. Talking about how she will lose her emoluments, her retirement benefits, and all that. She's talking about herself. Me, Chief Justice, at the highest level. It is about herself. And anybody for me who speaks about herself but not Ghana or himself, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with you because Ghanaians are the people who should be looked at as Chief Justice. If she loved this country, my dear, is it Georgina Wood? She set up some courts in the prisons.
Right.
If she really loved Ghanaians, she should have continued with that. Helen, if you go to the prisons of Ghana, 70% of the population of the prisons of Ghana are between male 18 to 35, boys, men.
Active workforce.
Active workforce, and some of their crimes. Somebody went to steal goat. Somebody paid. I mean, some very funny things that they could have done community service. If this woman couldn't do anything, she should have led the cause for us to pass the non-custodial sentence bill. So that some of these young people who are from certain kinds of homes, that no true fault of theirs, they are from single parents' home, there is no person there to mentor them, and they get into the hands of criminals and they end up in prison. If this woman didn't do anything, she was rather busy making sure that whatever the NDC government or any other, the NDC party or any other party that is not MPP brings a case to court, they will not make it. And that is how she got the nickname, the unanimous FC. Do you understand me? So, I mean, she's thinking about herself.
She's the one going through this particular
What is she going through?
process.
Sit down and let me ask you a question. Some people were jailed.
In
Some
fact, she
people
talks about how when she gets to the premises, how she said
You see,
family not allowed to even support her during the process. Do any of these items that she mentions strike you as, contravening her human rights?
What are you talking about? I was put in a jail cell in BNI. My brother, my sister, if nobody was there. My big sister is one of the biggest lawyers in this country. She was not even allowed to come close. My niece is a lawyer. Nana Abna Banfo, Nana Abna, good morning. I have lawyers in my home. My home is made up of lawyers. I was thrown in a dirty, dingy cell. Who was there? That wasn't my human rights. That at the end of the day, they said nothing. I don't want to go there. She should not even go there. You are sitting in a comfortable air-conditioned room. You are sitting on a comfortable chair. And you are saying that your human rights have been violated. You are being asked questions by your peers. Humane people. Has anybody slapped her? Has anybody stripped her naked? She should stop this. She is a woman. She should be strong enough to stand whatever is coming to her. Let the process end. For me, I would have only come out when the process ended and I'm innocent.
So this is premature, you say?
Very premature. You see, it looks very nauseating, as if she's fighting for her life.
Is she not?
What is it?
She's talking about her reputation, about her means of survival, about all the other consequences,
like
that come
what?
with it. She says that she's been, if you go in the media, all kinds of things are being said about her personality, about her person.
Who has said? Me, I haven't heard anybody saying anything about her. The kind of thing they said about that Charlotte and her colleagues, other people. You see, if she doesn't want to do lodge, I think that the president and the people in charge of this process should make arrangements for her to start hearings from BNI.
From BNI?
Yes. She wants change of location, isn't it?
That's right.
So they should take her there and start doing interrogation there. They should give them a room there. She said the Edu Lodge is haunting her. BNI will not haunt her because nobody was taken there. No, nothing was done in those days. Do you get me? No agreements or arrangements were done in the BNI at the time for anybody to be killed. So if she doesn't want to do lodge, and I think that maybe BNI will be the best place for her. They have high-clad walls. It is well protected. She'll feel safe. There will be no threats. Do you get me? You see their office? The walls are high. Cluvia close to, it is inside. She'll be protected. So they should take her there. So that this Edu Lodge business will be finished. And they should start proceedings at the BNI. And that would be good.
All right,
she'll be well protected.
Thank you for your preliminary thoughts. I'll come back to you on some more targeted issues that she's raised and get your thoughts on that. But Rhodelyn, I'll also ask you the very same first question. First of all, do you think it was appropriate for now suspended CJ to address the people of Ghana? And what do you think? as an embattled CJ who wants to carry
She's
the people
she's the
along.
president. Which people?
She wants to carry the Ghanaian people along.
When she didn't care whether 18-year-olds should register and vote, she didn't care.
And I'll
When
come
she
back to
didn't
you.
care whether a Ghanaian, when she said that what?
Birth certificate.
Yeah, she
you're
agreed that
referring to.
birth certificate cannot identify you as a Ghanaian. Birth certificate. That she did not even respect the document that identify you as a Ghanaian at birth. Maybe she's not a Ghanaian.
She's very much a Ghanaian.
Yeah, she should prove it.
Rhodolyn, and the second part of my question is, what implication do you think her presser yesterday will have on the proceedings?
I'd like to say good morning to our cherished viewers and good morning to all patriotic Ghanaians. Some are Ghanaians, but they are not patriotic.
Yes.
So I'd want to say
Maybe
a very
Auntie have
special good
qualified it.
morning to all those who love this country. Helen, you know, yesterday when I heard she was going to give a presser, I thought she was just going to come and, you know, tell us that, look, I've had enough and I resign.
Ah, you were expecting a resignation yesterday?
Yeah. I was expecting that she would want to say whatever she wanted to say, kind of like explain certain issues, and then at the end of it all say that because of this, I have decided to call it quits. You know, first and foremost, to keep the sanctity of this country, because I love this country so much, and I don't want this country to be at a standstill because of what is happening to me. Secondly, because I respect the government of the day. They have also shown me respect, at least given me the opportunity to also have a say in what concerns me. Looking at all these things, I have decided that I should just bow out and let things move on. But she didn't. She came in a combative mood. She came looking so combatant. It was like, and I was like, she's coming really to fight for her life. But you see, at the end of the day, she wanted public sympathy. Whoever advised her wrong. 57% of Ghanaians already want you out.
Where are you quoting these stats
I'm just
from?
quoting 57% of the NDC. They are in government, and they think that you are an impediment to their quest for justice, based on so many things that had happened in this country. For the first time, we had a Chief Justice that had all forms of accolades. Women's Organizer of MPP, 7-0, something FC. You understand? It was so bad that Ghanaians decided that we will not even go to court. You'd hear people say there's no point going to court unless you came from a particular party or a particular group. You understand? So people started doing things by themselves. Things got to an extent that you lost the respect that most Ghanaians had for you, because it seemed like you were playing to the opposition at that time. So I don't see how she would think that the public would have sympathy for her. And coming out being so self-righteous, you know, I looked at her and said, this is such a self-conceited person. This is somebody who just feels like everything is around her and she has the power to do everything.
Let me slight tackle you a little bit, because I'm hearing there also what Nanaya had to say. You were also reading the body language.
Yes, I was reading the
and
body language.
this is what you infer from her body language.
Yes.
Is the Chief Justice maybe a victim of maybe her, shall I say, body language or the way that she carries herself? And how do we bring that into the proceedings? What is the relationship there? Because I want to discern, especially from you two ladies, where we draw the line between it being personal and it being in her capacity as CJ. So situate that for me.
Body language tells a lot about a person. Sometimes there are some forms of attitudes and attributes, characters that you come with naturally. You can find people not smiling. They're just born like that.
Right.
But then you can also find people who have a certain attitude that is negative. The attitude that I got was like, me fancy ni ba. Ma akwa school, ma akwa 38 years in the service. It will be into me, you know, it's like I have educated myself. I come from an educated group. I have ruled 38 years. I have done this. So Are you the only person? Are you the only person, the only lawyer who has been in the bar for 38 years? Chief Justice Georgina Wood, Theodore Wood, was the first female Chief Justice of this country from 2007 to 2017. 10 solid years. She went through NPP, Kufuor, went to Atta Mills, and then went to John Mahama one time. Did Ghanaians shout? We had our problems with her, but we respected her office because she respected the office and she respected Ghanaians. She never came across as one who was interpreting the laws according to what she felt should be. She was going according to the Constitution. It was Chief Justice Georgina Wood, whom because of bias, people talking about bias, oh, the courts are biased, the courts are being playing favoritism and all that, that she then decided to bring out a technological system, automated system of selecting or empaneling judges. Was she using it? Was Tokenu using that technology, that automation of just being able to, so that you don't get to know who is going to sit on a particular case. You're just put there. You understand?
Right.
We had people who loved this country. But we could see from certain judgments, the speed with which she had the speakers, when we had the issue with the speakers, the minority and the majority issue, within a few hours, she had been able to empanel a group, and then you ask yourself, so what happened to situations like SAL? You're talking about constitutional breaches. How about SAL? They went 4 years, is it, without representation in Parliament. And you think that was good? You're talking about a public hearing, Edu Lodge.
Yes.
Edu Lodge was the seat of government. Kufuor used it, Atta Mills used it, and for what I know, occasionally I'll read that some dignitaries had been met at the Edu Lodge, at the castle. It's because it's serene, it is quiet, it's a high security zone. She herself knows that she's one person that needs to be secured. Let's not always think that when you sit there as Chief Justice and cases go against certain people, there are some people who are not happy with judgments that have been gone against them. And so you will not know what anybody can do. Probably using the court complex as she feels we should have done, which is close to Makwala and all those places. It's open space.
It's not serene or secure enough,
It's not so secure, no, because people walk in and out. There are so many court complexes, complex rooms and stuff. You know, people walk around and stuff. You need a serene atmosphere. And you need one that is very secured. I am sure the government of the day might have looked at that and felt that, look, let's just take this out of this and put it there. But you see, she wanted to put a slant at it to make it look like the way the NPP has been calling out, making every little thing, it's about killing of the judges, killing of the judges. You know, killing of the judges are human. Judges make mistakes. I bet if you go to Instagram, there are some people there who did not commit any crime. They are innocent, but they are there by circumstances beyond their control. You understand? So they are not infallible. Judges are also people who can make mistakes. And just like humans, yes, that particular thing, June 4th, the killing of the judges, was not the best that this country would have wanted. We all regret it. We don't think that it was the best for a country like Ghana, whose main thing was freedom and justice. You understand? But we don't want people to continuously rub it, because we've all gone through injustices.
But can you really measure the impact that such an event can have on an individual? If you watched her yesterday, as she recounted that, she was choked up almost as though she was fighting back tears. Is there no, shall I say, room or space that we can give to the CJ if she says that this particular venue that you have picked is just too triggering for me? Are you saying that government cannot maybe take that into account and suggest a different venue?
Like BNI?
No, but let me ask, how many of those people knew? Until yesterday, maybe a lot of people didn't know that that Major Akwa was her uncle.
That's right.
Until yesterday.
Me, I knew.
So how many people, no, but I'm saying that how many people
Most
knew?
people didn't know, yeah.
How many people knew that, you know, but she brought it up because somebody told her that when you bring it up, you're going to court sympathy.
Yeah.
What kind of sympathy?
Has it worked in her favor?
It hasn't worked in her favor. It hasn't. Because you see, it's just like telling us that for those of us whose parents spent time at Nsawam, don't go even passing through Nsawam because you get traumatized. Or for those whose fathers and mothers and whatnot were traumatized at the Gonda barracks in Bermakam, should not even take the Gifford route. Because anytime you pass there, it reminds you of the atrocities that were meted out to your relatives, maybe during a coup d'etat or anything. Those are not things that you come and stand as a person who is a chief justice, a former chief justice or a suspended chief justice, to want to come and talk about it. How many people don't go to court and come out crying? So they should never go to court? Because as soon as they get to the court entrance, then they start thinking about all those things. It's not the right thing to do. But you see, at the end of it all, when you decide to pick on your own colleagues, Paman can't hate you. Paman was your colleague, or is your colleague. How does he hate you? So do you hate other people? And to say that you believe that this thing it's a political agenda or whatever, so does it mean that all the time that you were there, almost everything, moving judges from one court to the other, taking some from, was it also political? Was it a political agenda of the MPP? Would you say that?
In fact, I've seen a number of people actually ask that question
Yeah,
because
would you say
of
that?
the statements made by the CJ about this political, agenda that is being
Yeah, I don't think that
waged.
she should be looking at this thing as a political agenda. At the end of the day, all we are saying is you've been accused of doing certain things. Come and answer. You have come and given us your version. But it surprised me that she didn't say also about the accusation that was meted out to her about her children being given contracts.
So she talked about the 3 different petitions.
Yeah, but did she talk about the children's contracts?
That didn't feature.
That
I
didn't
believe,
feature. Why
in
didn't
the
it feature? Did she talk about the fact that it was in social media that she had a company, or Afenyo Martins had a company or something like that with her, and they were doing some contracts in the judiciary, with the judicial service. So you picked and chose the things that you wanted us to hear, and you didn't even want to take questions.
What did that signal to you?
That signaled to me that you were just coming to tell us a one-sided story to confuse Ghanaians, and unfortunately you were not able to confuse anybody because we have to hear the other side. And to think that you knew very well that the Constitution said that this whole hearing must be in camera. That was to protect you. You understand?
And also other parties who were involved in this petition.
To protect you and to protect other parties. And now you come out openly. Openly. If she was CJ and somebody had come out that day, that way, yes, like she did yesterday, I am very sure that she would have really gotten somebody to tell the person that she was in contempt for coming out to tell it as it was when you were not supposed to. And I don't know which part of the Constitution she read, because I do know that most of the time, Chief Justice Tokenu always wants to translate, or interpret the Constitution according to how she wants us to take it. So I don't know which part of the Constitution she read from 146 that says that her spouse could be parts. I don't know which parts. And I would want her to tell us which part.
Well, it's not explicitly stated in there, but again, because she says this is quite a historic event that's ongoing, do you think that certain concessions could be made to at least ensure that for both sides, it's a smoother process than what we are currently witnessing, at least from the perspective of the CJ?
Historic. Do you know how many historic things we have had in this country? All those who went before courts in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s, they were all historic because we had never seen some before. You understand? To the extent that some were even paraded in cages on our streets. Boy Moses. I'm just saying that so many historic things have happened. But what is in the Constitution is in the Constitution. The law is the law.
Rodelyn, speaking of the law, let me pause you right there and introduce lawyer.
Give me 1 minute.
Okay, I wanted lawyer Martin Pebu to address something that a lot of people are asking,
Okay,
whether or
just a
not
minute to do
it's
something.
contempt. Yes,
Just
please.
to say good morning to somebody I haven't done. I mean,
Please greet.
She forgets me. Good morning, Auntie Marietta, the president's legal counsel, one of the finest lawyers. Yes, right. The finest lawyers on the finest. My auntie at the Flagstaff House. Auntie, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And thanks for your compliments. She's one of the best. If you have an issue, legal issue, and you send it to her, the response that she will bring, super perfect. Auntie, good morning. The president has chosen her well.
Thank you for your slight tackle. Good morning. Let's get onto the phone lines and speak with lawyer Martin Pebu.
Martin is there too.
Yes, he's here today. Part of the oral preparatory team, also a private legal practitioner. Lawyer Pebu, good morning to you.
He can be here.
Yeah, morning.
Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm good. Thank
Yes,
you.
greetings from myself and the rest of the panel. Let me get straight into this. I know that you've had a lot to say, at least in the last 24 hours since we heard from now suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. First question going out to you is, what do you make of the presser that she held yesterday, and what implications do you think it'll have on her removal process going forward?
Okay, so number one, is this Helen?
Yes, Helen.
Helen, okay, good. All right. Yeah. So number one, her press conference exceeded the boundaries set in law, which is that when proceedings such as the Article 146 proceedings are pending, we are not allowed to comment on the merits, and leak and disclose what's going on. So it went way beyond the prescription of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, and also in Article 146 Clause 8, that the proceedings are held in camera. They are supposed to be secretive so that it will help protect the whole system, the judiciary, and also the person facing the trial, in this case, the Chief Justice. So we'll look for Article 146 Clause 8, we'll read it. But in the meantime, that's why I've paraphrased. Then also, there are a number of Supreme Court decisions where the same point was made, that we should observe the secrecy, right? So you have the Justice Paul Derry versus Anas Tiger PI, right? That's 2015-2016 Supreme Court of Ghana Law Reports. The Supreme Court held so that no, don't disclose such proceedings, and that if somebody did, like what Chief Justice has done, that person opens him or herself up to. So the Supreme Court says when things like this happen, the committee can report or refer these events to the High Court so that the High Court can deal with the contempt. Because, the committee is not a court, so they don't have powers of contempt. And even there are some courts which don't also even have powers of contempt, like the District Court and Circuit Court. When I say powers of contempt, I mean civil contempt. There's some type of contempt the court can, the District Court and the Circuit Court can deal with, but not every type. So the point is that what she's done, she's opened herself up. Of course, practically, because of the office she occupied, not many people may say the case should be taken to the High Court for contempt, not at this moment. But you see, she would have eroded a lot of the respect. Okay, but I'm sure she did her calculations and saw that, look, she would want to erode some respect in order to bring to the fore things that should be done, reforms, etc., to make the system better. I'm sure that calculation, she's done it, and she's saying that she would rather go out, because he said, he who is down fears no fall. Because already what has happened has, eroded a lot from her.
Right.
So why don't I go out, put out what I think is wrong? So that's what she's done. But as I've said, the rules are very clear that when these 146 proceedings are going, nobody should disclose what she has done. That much is very clear. But so whether the committee will take it up is another kettle of fish.
Right.
So that is Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Now, Martin, I want to ask you
So now,
about your views on Article 146. What would you say is the most pressing weakness when it comes to Article 146 and how it impacts these sorts of processes?
is the in-camera hearing. It's not good for our democracy. No, it's not good at all. We've grown. When it was put in there, I understand. That was 30-something years ago, right? Constitution 1992. Yes, about 33 years ago, right? But now we've evolved as a people. We are still evolving. Yes, we are getting refined day by day. Right now, it's no longer good for us because, you see, we want accountability, right? So if the Chief Justice is being held accountable, we should see. So those days, those days, you couldn't even talk about, the judiciary. You are careful that, hey. But you see that we've grown. I was following the discussion. I saw how the panelists have taken her on and the rest. A few years ago, you wouldn't. Even to date, because lawyers who go to court generally try to even avoid these topics because you are scared that you may overstate something and then some people will not be happy with you in the court, etc. So what I'm saying is that for accountability purposes, this in-camera hearing has to go. Yes, so that it means that from day one, a judge who takes office knows that, hey, when I do anything, just like me, people talking to you, Helen, if I to do anything wrong today, it goes to court. People can come and watch. I'm also a lawyer.
Right.
So why is it that if my colleague, my classmate is a judge, suddenly when my colleague is done something wrong, we shouldn't see how it is dealt with? No. Let's all see how it is being dealt with in court. Right? So the in-camera thing has to go. The judges are first and foremost lawyers. They are classmates. Right? Every lawyer has a classmate, generally, who is a judge. So the same training. Then one goes to the bench. Then the other one decides to be at the bar as a lawyer serving the citizens. Then the judge will decide. There shouldn't be that difference. So everybody is the same accountability. That way, it even helps them better. But when it is guaranteed to be a secretive hearing, it's not conducive for accountability. In the US, if a judge is involved in such a case, they do it in Congress. Okay? Yeah. What do you call it? There are two chambers. Before the Senate, you have the House of Representatives. Right? And then Senate. So they do it in Congress openly so that citizens can follow. It's better for accountability that the proceedings be opened up going forward. And it's good that the chairman of the Constitution Review Commission, committee, HKC Prempe, has shown that for him personally, he's not in favor of everything being in camera. So he's shown that at least some portions should be made known to the public. But I'm advocating that let's do the whole thing. This is 30-something years on. The time this provision was written, yes, it had a certain usefulness. But now today, we are in a technological world.
That's right.
Citizens have become savvy. You go on the net.
So you say that that's something that potentially in the future we could see change. But like maybe my final question on this matter. A lot has been said about the, shall I say, emotional disposition that we saw from the CJ yesterday. Do you think that she's been able to adequately balance her personal feelings against this procedure that is ongoing? So balancing out her emotions as well as the legality of the processes so far.
Helen, look, to be straight, it's not an easy trial. What she's going through, it comes with a lot of emotional, toil. Yes, it's a very difficult process. Look, Helen, what she's faced with from CJ, she's facing the risk of losing that office. And a lot is gone. Even if she were to win this case, she can never recover fully. So what she's going through, I think we have to put it in context. It's a lot. Yes, I've heard Nana Yajantua, etc. I've heard her and the rest. But what I'm saying is that what she's going through is a lot, right? So I don't want to speak against that, she didn't do this well, didn't do that well. No. What she's going through, they say sometimes maybe to criticize a man, walk in his shoes.
Right.
I have not felt it. So I'll reserve judgment there. The main one, though, that we can say with certainty and which she should take on board is that, well, the Supreme Court, she herself, the very court that she's a part of, okay, has said that when this proceeding.
All right, I think we might have. Okay.
All that she's done.
Right.
So what can we do? What can we do about it?
Right. All right, Martin. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Lawyer Martin Pebu, part of the oral preparatory team, also private legal practitioner, sharing his perspectives on this particular issue, and also talking about the issues of contempt and whether or not the committee can refer that to the High Court, following what the CJ had to say about the actual merits of her case and the petitions that are before the committee looking into her removal. So some update there, ladies, from Lawyer Martin, especially on this contempt issue. A few of your messages, let me read them out, and then I'll come back in studio for the final bites from Nanaya as well as Rodalyn. But again, do keep your thoughts coming. Alfie says the petition for her removal is frivolous and lacks merit, but the president was able to determine a prima facie. So the government does not know security matters for her husband or her daughter. Okay, I'm not getting the construction well on this one, but it ends by saying, if not for dislike and frustrations, how come the petition before the committee is different from the copy of the petition before her? Okay. She mentions that she hasn't received that copy from the committee, but she's received it from the presidency. I think the idea is that those are the same, but that's that comment there from Yao Febri. You can reread, I'll reread that out. Some more of your messages. Agongo Roger should know that the suspended CJ should know that there is no credibility. And you are agreeing with Martin Pebu that even if she returns, it will be quite difficult. You say you urge her to resign. All right, Kojo Asante says removing Charlotte Osei from office was also historic. She says Madam CJ was the judge who dealt with the judges in the Anas bribery case, and she was ruthless. All right, that's coming from Kojo Asante on our Facebook page. Prince Anaya York says, I don't understand the suspended CJ. If they take her to the NIB office, will she be comfortable? Okay, you say again, if somebody says, I don't want to go to court because their mother was jailed and she cried, will that person be exempted from going to court? All right, you're following keenly with this discussion. Ethel says, was she the CJ to retaliate against past events? You say you are reading into her behavior. Are you also talking about body language? I don't quite understand. The death of the uncle. All right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And speaking of which, some of you are saying that, well, does she have something against this government because of her uncle and guardian? Has that clouded her judgment? Hamid Yusuf says, remember, she's a CJ and must not be emotional. Well, is that really possible? We're all human. He goes on to say, because one emotional decision at the Supreme Court of our democracy is a danger. Efo Kwame says, great day to you, ladies. Watching you from Adenta. We're enjoying the discussions by the two ladies in the studio. And finally, Lawson says, if she claims the process breaks every rule, she should name the rules. These are vague accusations. This message goes on to say, you know the law. If you feel threatened, also report to the proper security agencies. You can't pick and choose how this hearing will be conducted. Many of your messages, over 800 of them. I can't read them all out, but do keep them coming on YouTube as well. I see you very active in the comment section. I see you are enjoying the conversation and following along. Nanaya, a lot of reactions there. We're talking about her personality, also against her office, also against the proceedings. And at the start of the conversation, I saw a number of comments there asking why you were reading a lot into body language, and if that maybe will form some sort of bias. It's one thing for somebody to have that way about them, but when the law is the law, we need to look specifically in that direction.
But she said the law is the law.
Indeed.
She's not making noise. She said, no matter the noises that you make, the law is the law. And now she's making noise and the law is the law. And I think that, good morning, Martin. Martin is being very nice about it. I mean, he's a very compassionate person. He's very
he has to go to the court. He's a lawyer, so for them, they have to be extra careful.
I know he's not being extra careful. He speaks his mind. I mean, you know, Martin, and he's very, yes, he speaks his mind. It doesn't really matter. But he's a very compassionate person because he is thinking about what she is going through. And I also agree with him, even though he limited the scope and the severity of it regarding the contempt, that there are some contempt which is civil. But yesterday when she did this, I'm not a lawyer, but the first thing that I said that this woman has committed some contempt, because the Constitution 148 says that this process should be in secrecy.
That's right.
And you have come here and done what? Come to talk about the process. And as a lawyer, if she's an astute lawyer of 28 years standing as she's making us believe, she wouldn't do this, no matter how low you have sunk. And she should also understand, and my brother Martin, everybody should understand that once you take a public office, you can leave at any time. A public office is not a personal office. And that even if you have a private business, at a certain time you will leave and hand it over to your children. There is no permanency in the places that we stay in. And even there is no permanency in this world.
That's right.
So no matter who you are, wherever you are, you should understand. That is why when you are there, you should do things in a manner as if I am leaving tomorrow. That a day is coming that you'll be reckoned, and a day is coming that you should give account. That even in our own life, one day you stand before the judgment throne of God to give account of what you did on this earth. So I don't think that if you are in public office and something happens and you leave, you should be traumatized or you should be emotional. Because what about the presidents who lose power? Nana Addo has lost 3 times. His Excellency Mahama lost 2 times. His Excellency, I mean, all of them, they've gone through some loss. Ministers lose their positions. Even in government, they are reshuffled. Some get their position somewhere, some don't. So once you're in public office, you should
say toughen up.
Yes, I mean, that is my problem with her. She's behaving like some pampered dadaba. Yes, me, I'm dadaba, but I'm toughened. Did you get me? I agree. I mean, I won't run away from it. But you should be toughened. You should be tough. Taking that position is not a small position. She's even letting the side down. She's letting women down.
Really?
Of course. Just to talk on Gertrude is letting Auntie Saba is letting us down. Man up, face it.
Or shall we say woman up?
Woman up, face it. But you see, I said that anytime I go close to Auntie Marietta, she gives me good. This is what she's brought to me. She said, touching the renovated A.L. Edu Lodge. President Akufo-Addo noted, and that is her mentor, that the facility is a gateway to possibilities. And it has been designed to accommodate Ghanaian and foreign diplomats alike, and to host fora, conferences, and dialogue that can shape the future of this nation. Do you get me? This is what Nana Addo is talking about. He said beyond the brick and mortar.
So it's taking away the fear.
Yes, he said this lodge carries a deeper significance. It is situated in an area rich in history and meaning. Nearby is the Osu Christianborg Castle, which serves as the fulcrum of Ghana's colonial struggle, and later for a time as the seat of national administration, Akufo-Addo said. This is coming from Akufo, describing Edu Lodge, the one that she's describing as a cemetery.
It's because she wanted to add.
Do you get me? The one she's describing as a cemetery and a dungeon. Her mentor.
She says it's triggering her.
It's triggering her what? Her mentor is describing it as a safe haven. And I also hear from Auntie Marietta, you know, she's the former Chief Justice. She's just telling me that the committee...
Former AG.
Former AG, sorry. She's just telling me that the committee requested that they use that place because of the serenity of it. And they didn't want to disgrace her to take her to the courts. because that place is very busy and everybody will be seeing her going and coming and the attention on her. So they wanted a place that is serene. She's just telling me.
Right.
Do you get me? So for her to say that that place is a dungeon, that place is hell, I don't know what she's talking about. She just wants public sympathy. But I think they should charge her for the contempt.
You think that the committee should refer this to the High Court?
They should refer to the High Court. Yes. This woman should be shown that you can't do what you like in this nation. For a very long time, she has done things her own way. Because she has breached the law. Yesterday, I said it. Yesterday, I said what this woman has done. I am happy that a lawyer has said it. I didn't say it because I'm not a lawyer, and they'll say Nanaya is controversial. But coming from a lawyer, I am now saying that they should be charged for contempt. They should refer the matter to the High Court so that she's charged. There should be some discipline in this nation.
All right, Anaya, thank you so much for that. Roland, final thoughts on this. I'll read out a few messages and then we'll move on.
Listening to Martin Pebu, I picked a few things. And one was reforms, that he felt that maybe she wanted some reforms in that order. And I just felt that if she had such reforms in mind, she could have presented it to the committee that was going on the constitutional reform agenda. The other thing that I want to say is that for some of us who wanted her to resign, we just wanted her to resign in order to keep her respectability. At least at the beginning, before it went further, if you had resigned, then you would leave us asking questions, wondering what really was in it. But now you've come out with what you think is your story, leaving out certain portions of the story. And there's a difference between private travel and official travel. Even me sitting here, I know.
So you're talking about that distinction because she talked about that.
And she couldn't explain herself well. When you're going on a private visit with your family, that's different from when you're going on an official visit and you need security because you are our Chief Justice.
All right. So that rule where she cites that you've got to go with the security is for official travel only.
It's for official travel only.
When it comes to your personal travel, that's different.
You cater for yourself, your spouse, or whatever it is. You understand? So I think that certain things she didn't explain herself well, and certain things she decided to explain it as she understood it. And I'm asking, the question that comes to mind right now, I feel very pained that a woman that she is, that we all in this country as women have always advocated for more women to be in government structures, more women to hold leadership positions. And then I'm asking, so at the end of the day, assuming that Gertrude Torkornoo is kicked out, okay, assuming that the recommendation is that she's no longer Chief Justice, and she decides that she wants to take up maybe a position in another international organization, because we've had other people go and do other things after they've left their offices. Who would she be expecting to give her those recommendations? Because your country has to recommend you.
Indeed.
At least say something nice about you for other countries too. So if you go making it look like there's a political agenda, getting onto the government, would you expect the government to be able to give you that recommendation that you are a patriot of this country and that you are somebody that people can rely on and that you're loyal, you have integrity and all that? So she should be thinking of those things. And as much as she wants to get her bites, she should also know that there is a tomorrow. She's still a very young woman. She can hold all forms of positions, and she will need people to vouch for her sometimes in those situations. So taking all this into consideration, I think that Gertrude Torkornoo did not do herself any good in having that presser.
Thank you so much for that, Rodelyn. Let me read a few more comments out on this one. I see that a lot of you are keenly following. You've got a lot to say on this particular matter on YouTube, hundreds of your messages. Now, this one from Anthony Kujo says, the Chief Justice yesterday defiles the Constitution of the Republic, and that alone has made her lose some sympathy from rational thinking Ghanaians. And for me, the next sitting must open that exit door. Okay. Patrick says, Lawyer Martin Pebu, right person to have called this morning. Aiba Emmanuel says, remember that if this removal goes through, the next CJ will face the same thing under a new government, and it will continue like that. He goes on to say, this is not good for our democracy, and that's why people should reason and stop with the hateful sentiments. That's what you say, Aiba Emmanuel. That's your thoughts on this. Kobe Confidence says, if the law is running from the Supreme Court to the High Court, where should we, the people, go now? Very interesting sentiments on there. But let me quickly expand this conversation a little bit more. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo is a founding member of the NPP. Let's pick his perspectives really quickly on this matter. Doc, hello, good morning. Dr. Tamaklo, hello, good morning. Doc, can you hear me? All right, we'll try him one more time on this particular matter. But again, keep your thoughts coming. Alpod says the ex-CJ is opening up herself for ridicule and is going to be named public enemy #1. She should resign. All right, that's some comments there coming through on Facebook. Let me jump onto YouTube, read a few more of your comments. I don't think I've seen this many comments from you all. Yes.
There have been reforms. Akukosa was sacked. He didn't get the opportunity to meet a committee. He was sacked by Kwame Nkrumah. You understand? And then, after the 1992 constitution, I bet they saw that that was not the right way to go, and then they decided on this procedure. So there's always room for reforms.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that off the back of that comment that seems to suggest that we'll open up the floodgates if we do that? Rodelyn, marinate on that for me. I think we've got Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo back on the lines. Doc, hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Yes, hope you're doing well.
I'm okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the program. I'm sure yesterday you were keenly watching what suspended...
Hello, there's a lot of noise at the background there. I can't hear what you're saying.
Okay, let me try and speak up and see if that helps our cause. Is it better?
Yeah, I think it's better now.
Okay, certainly. I want to ask for your thoughts on yesterday's presser by suspended Chief Justice Tokonu. What did you make of it? What do you think her presser will do to her case moving forward?
I think, yes, it's better now. I think, firstly, I was surprised that the former Chief Justice came out to confirm certain things that have been my biggest concern in this country. And that is the inability for the Ghanaian official, be the person, the president or a minister or whatever the person might be, to say no on principle. To say no on principle. Indeed, one thing that has been worrying me all along, and yesterday she came to underline it, that is the lack of saying I am okay with it and I resign. We don't have culture of resignation in this country. And unfortunately, she came to confirm that. Now, I would like just to clarify certain issues.
Sure.
About the press conference yesterday. Firstly, she is not the first to be removed from office as a Chief Justice in the history of this country. She's not, underline not, the first ever to be removed from office was the Akukosa.
Right.
Chief Justice of the First Republic and also the first Chief Justice of Ghana. Now, what also I would like to bring to the notice also is that the current challenges confronting the judiciary are in large part a consequence of the environment of her own work. As one legal commentator said, and I listened to the person yesterday, she is now facing the very struggle she helped, facing the very structure she helped to build. Now, supremacy of the Constitution is the next point I want to talk about.
Sure.
No one in this country, and I say no one, not even the president of this country, is above the Constitution of this country. And also, she must know that there have been lawyers in some families years back, as far back as 17th century, 18th century, before she came around. Now, what I, and I once said, was expecting her to do yesterday, which she didn't do, was to have humbly resigned from her position. This country, there are a lot of people in this country who are mature. There are people far, far older than her, far older than her husband, and she should show respect when she is addressing this country. Lastly, Edu Lodge was named after one of the best diplomats and statesmen we have had in this country, who worked with us, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He was a diplomat as well. Indeed, that building used to belong to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And it has never been a dungeon
Right.
for questioning slaves or whatever you call them. I will say finally
Yes.
that she should just quietly write her resignation letter and leave that place. Because that is what will be done in a civilized country. After having dragged her name through the mud, she has now come to confirm that that position she was holding before. She's not the Chief Justice presently. We have an acting Chief Justice. And that is what she should know. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doc, for your perspectives. And thank you for also giving us some history there on the issue. And that was Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, and he's a founding member of the NPP, weighing in on yesterday's press. I do see a lot of your comments still coming through. Do keep them coming. A lot of you quite active on the socials. But of course, it'll be immortalized on our Facebook pages, YouTube pages, so you can always go back, rewatch, and also see what you all had to say about the issues at hand. But ladies, we'll have to wrap it on this note, and this is one that all Ghanaians are following quite keenly along with. I'm sure all throughout the day we'll still be dissecting the sound bites that have come out of this. But Nanaya, finally on this score, what do you think should be the next steps? I'm sure you're also eagerly waiting for the committee to wrap up its work, because now it's been going on for some time and we want to see the way forward.
You see, she's interfering in the process too much. She's not allowing the process to go flow through its natural course. And I think it's as if she's on some negative popularity contest, because she's all over the place. I mean, for a former Chief Justice, you should have some decorum. Or for a chief, she's still a Chief Justice.
Because they're suspended one.
Though she's not former yet.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Somebody's acting in her stead.
Yeah.
It's like you're on leave and somebody's acting. So she should put some decorum to her the things that she does, to her events and to her instances, because she's coming out as if she's not even the 28 years at the bar that she's talking about. You see, I go with Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. Good morning, Uncle. The point is that if you resign or if you go through the process and you are innocent, posterity will certainly judge. What did His Excellency Mahama say? When he left office, he didn't fight. 2016. They did so many things against him, said so many things. And when he was leaving, his last words, he came back to hunters, he came back. Those last words, that posterity will judge whether he did well or he didn't do well. He didn't go doing press conferences, nothing. So if you are going through this and you think in your heart that you are innocent, go through the process. That job is, you see, that job is not your personal job. Right. It is for government. Anybody could occupy it. The president could even say that today, I can't work with you, go. Somebody will say, okay, what about if she something happened, unfortunate? I don't want to mention those names. Right. What would have, she would still cling on to it? You guess me? She's talking about threats. And I agree with Felix. She knows where to go to as Chief Justice, to ask for protection. For those who she say are threatening. They are threatening your life. Because I do. Somebody who is threatened can come out and do press conference openly. If your life is being threatened, you'll be hiding. No, you won't be going into public places. Do you get me? You'll be hiding. But for me, I believe that she should let the process go on. The interjections are too many. Right. Today she's in court, tomorrow is that. But just give me a second to thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as an Nkrumahist, that he boldly brought her 1st July, has brought dignity into the life of Ghanaians for us to recognize that is the day that we were free and free indeed. That in 1957 up to that time, we're still using the currency of the British. We're using the flag. We're using singing the national anthem. On 1st July 1960, we got our independence. But Nana Addo and his people said we don't need that independence. That absolute freedom that happened on 1st July, for us to commemorate the day, he said no. So he took it away. It became just an ordinary day, but today, he has brought it back. Absolutely. And we thank him. And also the fact that he has also recognized that one, I mean, it makes me happy that Kwame Nkrumah is the founder of this nation and has made 21st September a day that we are going to celebrate our founder, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. This one, Your Excellency, you have done so great, and God bless you for recognizing when people were distorting history. Today, you have recognized Kwame Nkrumah, and it's so elating. Nanaya, thank you for that. Well, I've only got about 30 seconds. Moving forward, what would you like to see as far as these processes are concerned?
No, I hope that they speed up the processes. We hope that the committee will come out soon and bring us some closure, because it looks like this whole thing has brought the country to a different level. But Helen, I would like, I just have pride in women when they do well, and when they pull other women along, when they open avenues for other women. I'd like to encourage young women and all women to read about Justice Annie Gyagye. Okay. You know, if you ever heard of it, did you hear of it? She's the one set up exactly. Annie Gyagye was the first female judge of this country and the first female judge of the Commonwealth of Nations. You understand? And she has done so much. So it's not about 38 years. No, 38 years.
Thank you so much for that, Rodelin. And also thank you so much.
I know. She was a tough
Nanaya.
Gyagye Commission. Yes. And people should read about Annie Gyagye and what we mean when we say justice.
Auntie Rodelin has given us some homework there, some reading this weekend for you and I. But let me say a very big thank you to Rodelin Imoro Ayana, public interest advocate, also Nanaya Achimpim Jantwa, presidential staffer, also former general secretary of the CPP. Always a pleasure. We also had Martin Pebu on the phone lines, as well as Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo this morning. A very rich discussion indeed. And to all of you who contributed on the socials, we're grateful that you decided to stick with us and also share your views and thoughts. We're giving out 2,000 Ghana cedis to 2 lucky individuals Again, only if you play *439#. So please make sure you're playing as many times as possible. It'll cost you 5 cedis to play, and you too could be winning 2,000 Ghana cedis going straight onto your mobile device. *439#. Do keep on playing, and we'll pause now for a quick break. When we come back, we get into other matters right here on New Day.